This week's question is, which NFL team has the top breakout star? Vote on Twitter or Instagram with the hashtag FanIndex plus the hashtag with the player's team name. For example, if you think the Browns have the top breakout star in Baker Mayfield, just vote with the hashtag FanIndex and hashtag Browns. All right, welcome back. That's that dude. I'm Jason Whitlock. Time for some big stories, starting with a big one in Charlotte. Today, the Panthers signed safety Eric Reid to a one-year deal. Reid last played for the 49ers, where he was the first 49er to join Colin Kaepernick in kneeling during the anthem. After the Niners didn't re-sign him, Reid also joined Cap in accusing the NFL owners of collusion when he also couldn't find a job. Soon after the signing, Kaepernick posted this on social media: "Congrats to my brother, all-pro safety, who should have been signed the first day of free agency, who has signed a pro football contract. He was the first person to kneel alongside me. Eric is a social justice warrior.
That voice, though.
To support his family and communities in need." Marcellus,
yes.
Does this move help Kaepernick's chances of rejoining the NFL?
Is that Kaepernick's voice, or is that the all-encompassing black voice?
That's just me.
You're nuts. Let me answer. First of all, yes. Absolutely, yes. And I saw this coming, too. How long have we been working together? This is our third week?
Third week, yeah.
God, I wish it was 3 months, because you would have heard me say these things, but I'm going to give it to you now in package form. My 5-step conspiracy theory that is actually following plan. Here you go. All right, number one was highest profile members in the collusion case against the NFL, Eric Reid, Colin Kaepernick, correct? Right? So the NFL sits there and says, we don't want to testify against ourselves, do we? All right. So what do? Step 2 occurs. A partner of the NFL, Nike, who was going to drop one Colin Kaepernick, decides, instead of dropping this guy, let's actually make him the face of an ad campaign. And that's going to come out, and that's going to do a few things for us. One, it's going to make him more likable. Say what you want, it has. It's going to make them more acceptable in terms of the total population saying, you know what, that's a good thing to get behind a social cause, whatever that cause may be. But most important, for the NFL's purpose, it made them bankable. And Nike's profits, Nike's engagement, Nike's stock has shown he's now bankable. Now, step 3 occurs. And I said this before. I wish we worked together. I didn't say that already.
Go ahead.
Mark Garagos comes out and says, there are 2 teams interested in one Colin Kaepernick. You guys just stay tuned. And I was like, stay tuned? I'm already watching. I already know where this is going. Step 4, Eric Reid signs. You don't want to go big fish first. You don't want to go to big splash first. Eric Reid, let's test the waters. Let's see how they're going to accept this. And the last but final step, Jason Whitlock, you probably know what that is. Colin Kaepernick will sign. And that's the last step of this evolution in terms of the NFL really protecting this collusion case and doesn't want to let the world know where the bodies are buried. Therefore, Colin Kaepernick will find an opportunity in the NFL once again.
Can you
take
your tinfoil hat off now and your conspiracy theory? Look, I think all this is all the air is out of the protest. And so now it's like, Eric Reid, come on in. You want to come in and take a knee with the Carolina? No one's talking about it. No one cares. You want to do your little gesture that's really not doing anything? No problem. We've moved on and we're playing football. Same goes for Colin Kaepernick, although I think it's a bit more difficult for Kaepernick because when Kaepernick shows up, like Eric Reid, they signed him one-year deal. He's probably going to play this week and maybe even start. But eventually he may just return to being a backup in Carolina. He's not a big deal. When Kaepernick shows up on your team, there's a question about should he be playing? Should he be playing ahead of your starting quarterback?
Depends on where he lands.
Yeah, depends on where. There's an immediate. And so I think it becomes a bit more difficult. But I think the national anthem controversy is over. And so you can bring Kaepernick in. He can wear his afro. He can do his kneeling. And everybody on Twitter can applaud and make like a – but the real world has moved on.
Well, the real world moved on because the real world felt like it took a loss, whether that being the spokesman, being our president, or everyone else averse to this movement. The thing about it is the air is not out of it because they wanted it to stop. It's because reluctantly there's no more issue to have with this cause and this protest. Fewer guys are protesting. Let's just be real about that.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Right. Fewer guys are protesting, but still the support is greater than ever. And it's just like whatever you want to say, the other side is saying. The other side is saying we are beating a dead horse now. This situation to us is over in the respect that we can't do anything else to change these guys' mind in terms of their social cause and protest. It's just that simple. So I don't want it to seem like that they said, oh, you know what, we won, therefore it's over. It's like we can't win, so it's over now. That's the situation.
I guess my point, I don't think anybody won.
Okay.
I really don't think anybody won. I think it was, two kids fighting, and they both ran out of energy, and y'all need to stop it.
Let's just play ball again.
Spray them with water, break them up, quit. Y'all cut that out. Y'all ain't even throwing real punches anymore because, again, when football kicks off on Sunday, everybody's talking about football. And I think everybody, again, on both sides, Kaepernick is a brand that's being used by Nike. It's not about some social justice. Nike's in the business of selling tennis shoes.
Oh, yeah.
And so, to me, Kaepernick raised his hand and said, you know what? I'm in the business of helping Nike sell tennis shoes.
And you guys helping me as well. But the question is, let me see this. Let's reset. Do you think he's going to be on the NFL roster this year?
I think there's a chance, but I think there's only really a hand. If San Francisco wanted to sign him and bring him to Woke City in San Francisco, I think it works there.
Well, look, Eric Reid is not in Woke City.
No, he's irrelevant, man. Nobody cares about Eric Reid.
But the owner, you know what's not irrelevant? The owner, David Tepper, Republican by his affiliation and political views, except on the congressional level, he says he votes Democrat. So whatever that means, he's the newest to the good old boy club, the newest owner. And I think they looked at him in that ownership group and said, it'd be nice if the new guy could show us a vested interest in this group by doing something for us. You think
they
that's
have a need at safety.
Oh, of course.
This is a football
Teams
decision.
have a need at quarterback and safety, and this hasn't occurred before.
I think Carolina made a business football decision, and then I don't think the owner's politics at all plays into this because, again, Eric Reid is harmless, and the whole kneeling protest movement is now really harmless.
If he was so harmless, how come it took him to week 4 to get signed?
He's not a great player.
He's not a horrible player, and he's better than players on roster. Something kept him 4 weeks behind in terms of being on the opening day roster.
Because he's not a great player. He's not a difference maker when there was a need. There's other safeties better than him that haven't signed as well. Look, Des Bryant can't get a job, and I could argue Des Bryant's a better player than Eric.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's guys, look, man, I grew up with a guy, Jeff George, for a long time that set out of the league when he was far more talented than guys that were playing. That happens all the time.
And Jeff George also had some other things on the resume people didn't want to deal with.
Right. No difference.
So that's what I'm saying. Eric Reid had some things on the resume people didn't want to deal with, this being that thing, right? Yeah.
To some degree. But at the end of the day, the value in safeties, the way the league is being efficient, is just not the same.
No, safeties, fullback, nobody cares.
This is a guy that played some linebacker last year, I believe, for the 49ers. I just think the reason why he's getting signed and the reason why Kaepernick may get signed is because the gesture and the whole deal has lost all of its steam and momentum. That's my view. All right, to Dallas, where the Cowboys are 1-2 and looking for their answers. It looks like Ezekiel Elliott has a couple of good ones. When asked if the Cowboys could solve their problems on offense by running the ball more, Zeke took the question and ran with it.
I mean, you can do all that, but at the end of the day, like, if you go back and watch the film, it's poor execution on offense. You can't run the ball if you're down by 17 points. That's what it is. If we get behind, we're going to have to throw the ball. We're not going to be able to, do what we want to do. So what we have to do so we can be able to run the ball more is just be better early in the game. If we're better early in the game, if we're not taking those 3 and outs, if we're not in long down the distance, we can run the football. So if we execute early, then we can run the football as much as we want.
All right, Marcellus, you think Zeke has lost any confidence in Dak Prescott?
Oh, absolutely. Whether it's in his quiet corners with his few confidants or just not even trusting in anyone, just looking at Dak Prescott, he's like, oh, man, Dak is struggling. And it's smart of Zeke to actually come out and play this with the Jedi mind trick that he's playing this with. This is amazing because I think his greater gain and his greater goal is to outlast the fray. What do I mean by that? Year one was an amazing year, not only for Zeke, but for Dak. Year two, a lot of the blame of Dak's struggles went to Zeke because, in part, he was a distraction. Was he going to play this week? Was he not going to play this week? Oh, you should already take the suspension. You finally do. 6 games left. We lose our playoff opportunities. It's all on you. So now he's starting to think, I need to get my image back in terms of being a franchise player. How do I do that? Not pouring on the extra syrup on a struggling Dak. I let the media do that. I let Jerry Jones do that. I let Stephen Jones. I let Dak do that. But I'm going to stay away from the fray and outlast it. So what you saw from Zeke right there was what politicians do all the time. Smart play. Elastic language. Talk out of both sides of your mouth. You know why? Because Dak is going to sit there and hear that and say, he's talking about me, but he's not talking about me. And that's going to be enough pressure as a teammate to put on your starting quarterback, say, do better, and at the same time protect his image as he has greater goals.
I got to agree with you. I think that anybody with 2 eyes can see that Dak's play has slipped.
Oh, yeah.
And so it would be impossible for anybody in that locker room not to have lost a little. Damn, is he going to be as great as he could be? However, I do believe that Zeke is like me. We're cognizant of the fact that Dak's play has slipped, but I still feel really confident that if given the right pieces and given the proper coaching and game plan, I think Dak Prescott is a quarterback you can win with at the highest level in the National Football League. I think that Zeke, if anything being political, he's not taking shots at the coaching staff. Because to me, what blows my mind is Jerry seems more committed to Jason Garrett than damn near anybody else in the franchise, any player, anybody else in the franchise other than Jason Garrett. And at some point, to me, if I was Zeke, Dak, any of these players, the pressure needs to be on Jason Garrett and the coaching staff. They have one of the most unimaginative offensive schemes in football. Jason Garrett's been there forever and had more than enough time to have playoff success. It hasn't happened. Jason Garrett's one of the best clappers in the NFL, and that's about it.
Look, I'm not going to let you aim incorrectly at the priority here. The priority here, look, they've been through coaching changes before. The culture stays
not
the
in
same.
7-8 years.
But here's the thing. What they need to do, and I think even Zeke is alluding to this, it's our quarterback play. Because week one, Jerry Jones came out and criticized Jason Garrett. Remember, I told you about that. Creativity in offense. I just saw Cam Newton go out there. Yeah. That was a shot at you, Jason Garrett, not at Dak. Next week, Dak actually goes out there and runs the ball more consistently. Dak is looking like in the last 10 games they showed his numbers are eerily similar to Brock Osweiler. Brock Osweiler is who Dak Prescott has been of late. And you said if you give him the right weapons, the right support, the right coach. That's how Kirk Cousins got to Minnesota. People were saying that. And we just went over that topic of maybe you need to assess who he is before you start saying what's around him. Dak, to me, is the problem.
Listen,
he's the problem.
I think comparing to Brock Osweiler is unfair. Comparing him to Kirk Cousins, a guy that but Doc's not getting paid $84 million. He's still on a rookie deal, $600,000. I think $900,000 next year.
And he's playing like it.
Yeah, he really
living
is.
up to that money.
He really is.
Yeah.
I contend, though, if you look at what's been consistent in Dallas's failure and why they haven't had playoff success, it's Jason Garrett. And at some point, you got to make a move that direction. Coming up, the Panthers say Cam Newton has matured. Rod Woodson and TJ Houshmandzadeh will be here to hash it all out. Speak for Yourself is sponsored by DraftKings. Play free tonight for your shot at $150,000 in prizes.